and welcome to the daily newspaper analysis, which is brought to you by LawSikho. Today, we have a very interesting editorial that we have taken from the Hindu newspaper, which talks about reforming the death penalty sentencing in the country. As we know that the debates have always been about the capital punishment, whether it should be there or it should be abolished. So similar things will be discussed in this article as well. Next, we'll move towards the news update, wherein we'll discuss the important news point for our prelims exam. And we'll conclude with the legal news, wherein we'll discuss the most important latest case laws for the day. Let's start our discussion about the challenge of reforming death penalty sentencing. So, since the immemorial time, there is an ongoing crisis in the way Indian judiciary has had a pervasive arbitrariness in the way of death sentences are given. So, as we know that many countries nowadays have also abolished the system of capital punishment. By capital punishment, here we mean the death penalty. So as we know that in the Indian criminal system, we still have the capital punishment by hanging unto death. And this capital punishment, though, is given in the rarest of the rarest cases, but still there are many debates that go along the abolishment of the death sentence and say that it is completely against the human rights. And instead of getting a deterrent theory of punishment, we should rather focus upon the reformative theory, wherein we should try to change the person and bring him out of the criminal circumstances and make him a part of the society. So the same has also been acknowledged by the Supreme Court and numerous judges time and again. The court was in visible discomfort while it was dealing with the case of Manoj and others over procedural unfairness in sentencing being carried out by lower courts. Now, as we know, guys, that many a times this has been under debate, wherein if there are multiple number of accused, some depending upon their act in the crime, they are sentenced to the death sentence, while others may not be. A very good example of this was the case of A.G. Pirarivalan, which was the case of Rajiv Gandhi assassination, wherein there were a lot of people who were accused. Many were also given the death sentence, but some were not. So in the case of Bachchan Singh versus State of Punjab, it was greatly emphasized that the individualized sentencing and called upon courts to consider the crime and circumstances of the accused. So it said that what we should do is that we should individually look into the matter and decide for every individual accused, and then we must be deciding whether he or she is entitled or should be entitled to the death penalty or not. One thing that you have to remember over here is that the Bachchan Singh case is a very, very crucial case when it comes to capital punishment in India. So you should remember that what Bachchan Singh versus State of Punjab case is associated with. So since September 2021, Supreme Court has delivered judgments in 10 cases, resulting in 3 acquittals and the commutations for the rest. So we have seen that Supreme Court rather has a lighter hand when it comes to awarding the death penalty when we talk about the Indian judicial system. So the Supreme Court is also concerned about the lack of information when an accused is sentenced to death. So it says that we should make sure that all the circumstances, all the evidence must be strong enough that we are able to award the death penalty to a particular accused. And if there is lack of information, then we should be giving the benefit of doubt, and we should not be resorting to the capital punishment. So as is the scope of mitigation theory, the circumstances of the accused need to be taken into account while implementing a death sentence. So it should not just be like, a crime has been committed, so the death penalty will be awarded. It is saying that the circumstances of the particular accused should also be considered in the light. Now, this is important as there are complex personal and environmental factors that interplay together, making an impact on the behavior perpetrated by the accused. Now, these could be, the kind of mental trauma, the torture that person might have gone through since, his childhood, and various other environmental factors, maybe, all criminal background in this family, which could actually bring forward or which could double or multiply the chances of such act that was done by the accused. So the judgment in the case of Manoj and others is important because of 2 factors. Firstly, it brings into light pre-offense data for a fair analysis into the mitigating factors, which means that what were the circumstances that prevailed generally, and also with the accused before the offense was committed, and these should be taken into account while we are discussing the mitigating factors or the factors that could be taken into consideration to reduce the punishment from at least the capital punishment. And secondly, it invites opinions and reports from a wide variety of disciplines, so that a multifaceted decision can be taken up whenever such decision is to be done. Please consider that this article is in itself one of the opinions when it comes to the capital punishments. There are also theories and people who are in staunch favor of capital punishment. So we would advise you to make a complete system, a complete thought process of your own by taking all the pros and the cons of the capital punishment in the country. With this, let's move further with the news updates for the day. Firstly, India-Bangladesh flagged off new cross-border train. So, Railway Minister of India Ashwini Vaishnav and Railway Minister of Bangladesh Mohammed Nurul Islam Sujan flagged off train number 13132, that is Mithali Express train service, connecting the new Jalpaiguri and Dhaka Cant railway stations through video conferencing. So, that is a great news for us. Secondly, Madras War Cemetery Gardner gets Honorary British Empire Medal. So, despite the searing heat and sudden floods and severe damages, one man and a small team maintained the Madras War Cemetery. So, for this service, Perumal Venkataraman, the head gardener at the cemetery, was awarded with an Honorary British Empire Medal for his outstanding work. Thirdly, Telangana Formation Day. So it was actually today, that is June 2nd in 2014, that Telangana was carved out of the erstwhile unified Andhra Pradesh. So it was actually done after a massive people's movement that lasted for several decades. So in 2014, it was formed as India's 29th state, but at present it is the 28th state as Jammu and Kashmir has been made a union territory. So the total count of number of states has again gotten back to 28. Let's see what do we have for legal updates today. Firstly, criminal trial cannot be proceeded ex parte. Evidence can't be received in absence of accused except under section 299 of the Criminal Procedure Code, as has been held by the Karnataka High Court in the case of G.H.Abdul Kadri versus Mohammed Iqbal. So the Karnataka High Court has said that a criminal trial cannot be held when the accused is absent unless the personal appearance has been dispensed with valid reasons. There cannot be dispensation of examination of an accused under section 313 of the CRPC. And the judge further said that a speedy trial did not mean jumping stages in a criminal trial. That was all for today. We hope you liked the session. If you did, do give it a thumbs up. Also, you may subscribe to our channel. If you wish to download the PDF of today's slides, you can join our Telegram channel. The link is there in the description box below, or you can also scan this QR code that you can see on your screens right now. Thank you so much.